Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's talk about what we have going on in the markets this next week and things that are incredibly important. I hope you guys are having a good weekend, but it's time to get back to work. What we do have is one of the biggest AI companies, NVDA, is going to be reporting their earnings, and this is going to have a big influence on the AI industry, which can have a big effect on Palantir and also just the overall market. A lot of the eyeballs are looking at NVIDIA right now, and specifically, will it be able to keep up with their expectations that Wall Street is continuing to set and raise the bar on? They've had like 36 earnings per share revisions in the last 90 days. Also, in addition, we have inflation that is sitting kind of at our bedside and waiting for the Fed to make some remarks from the FOMC meeting about what will be happening regarding their decision on either cutting interest rates or holding it. So we have a lot to talk about in this video. If you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, for trading on Palantir for Friday, not a ton of price action. Basically consolidating on the day, sitting at 21.76. And this kind of follows the general market. You basically have pure consolidation on the day, as I think the market is getting ready for some big earnings to be reported. As we talked about NVIDIA, you also have big retailers like Target and Lowe's that will be also reporting their earnings. So lots of big companies that the market is going to be looking at. And specifically with NVIDIA, and also in addition to that, we will have minutes from the FOMC meeting, the Federal Open Market Committee meeting, on comments from the Federal Reserve speakers talking about insights on how the officials are looking at inflation. And remember that last week we had finally from that CPI report the first report that inflation is starting to show some signs of cooling. So you have some excitement coming here into the market, and I think the NVIDIA earnings is going to be a big catalyst for more buying momentum if they do have a breakout earnings. Now, specifically with PLTR, let's talk about where the opportunity lies here. Because remember, just a few weeks ago, Palantir was trading at $25 before earnings was released. We had Palantir that had a wonderful earnings report, had a slight change in their future guidance, and the market really didn't like this, and it reacted with a correction. But what we do see is still triggering a very important reversal at the support level of $20. And now I think if Palantir can hold and give above this 2240 area, this has been a support level through the whole Head and Shoulders recent bearish pattern. So Palantir being set up here, getting to 2240, I think is the next step to test those mid 20s. Now, specifically talking about NVIDIA, earnings are going to be coming out 5:22 after the bell. That is Wednesday after the market. Earnings per share coming in here at 557, revenue at 24.5 billion. That's crazy to talk about. But what I more specifically want to talk about in this video is the sell-off here, a long-term opportunity for those that are looking to get in for the long term on PLTR. And the reason I talk about that is because, like I said, they had a breakout earnings in terms of expectations for the quarter. And specifically, if we look at just a few of the charts right here, regardless of what we see with valuation, yes, we know valuation is very high with PLTR, especially in SaaS companies, and comparing that to industrial standards in terms of the actual price of sales. AIP is continuing to be a big catalyst that is showing that Palantir is really growing at almost an exponential rate. And since mid-2023, just last year, they've already completed 915 boot camps. And this is really incredibly important because it shows you the interest and the demand that these companies are having from the commercial side of things in getting involved with data AI software. And Palantir being a leading competitor right here, you can see the results right in front of our face. If you just look at some of these good bar charts that I want to show you guys here, looking at some of these trend lines here, that commercial customer count is continuing to grow every single quarter. There has not been a dip since Q1 of 2021, and total customer count is continuing to grow. What is kind of staying stagnant, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, is the government customer count right here. Now, why I say it's not a bad thing is because government customer count and those governmental contracts were really an important, I want to say, stepping stone for Palantir to achieve those contracts in order to gain some credibility, basically build the resume, and then have the opportunity to utilize that as a kind of foundation to start expanding into the private sector. And I think that's what they're literally doing right now. And we've seen this, and we can see this being reported before our eyes, looking at just the commercial customer account here. And in terms of contracts, starting to establish more of these higher value contracts, and keeping higher types of retention. Now, total revenue, free cash flow, net income, these things are improving, and especially here with total revenue compared to stock-based compensation, you can see total revenue is doing well. One of the best things that I agree with for PLTR, and I think I agree with many other retailers out there, just like you and me, is that they have an amazing balance sheet in terms of the amount of cash that they have on hand compared to the short-term liabilities and their long-term debt, which is essentially zero. They're doing very well. And why I think this is important is because when times get tough, what if we all of a sudden see a big bear market that comes out of nowhere? Palantir has the resources to get through any of these big storms. And in addition, when times are fruitful, when things are going well in the economy, what we're seeing right now, record highs in terms of the indexes that are sitting there, S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Dow Jones, Palantir has a lot of money to invest into continuing to grow its company and also developing new technologies, really keeping it as a top tier, I want to say, AI stock with the products that they do offer. So why Palantir shares could continue to rise. And I think right here is talking about because the sell-off that we did have after the company changed its kind of revenue guidance slightly for the rest of the year, that reaction, I think, is starting to cool off. We're starting to see the retail investors, institutional investors, Wall Street, everybody across the board. Palantir has done a really good job of holding the level right here. And I think of NVIDIA, like I said, a lot of eyeballs are going to be looking at NVIDIA, and we might not see a ton of volatility until Wednesday, or we might get some anticipation there's going to be possibly a lot of options trading around kind of on Tuesday, that last minute type of tradings when options start getting really expensive. Palantir could start to move a little bit, but I don't think we're going to be confident on what the swing is going to look like, particularly until NVIDIA does report their actual earnings. That's just in my opinion. However, what I do believe, in my own personal opinion here with Palantir, is I think this overreaction that we did see, the justification that people claim from the Q1 earnings, future given revenue guidance that was altered. I think Palantir right here now has a next leg up, and I think the 2240 level will be an incredible support level that Palantir will have to reestablish basically to start testing this mid-20s again. That's basically where I sit right now with my opinion. I want to know, what is your guys' opinion? I love interacting with you guys down in the comments, reading your comments, reading the discussion. So let me know. Peace out, take care, and let's kick off to another great week. Have a great day.